us know what the climate march is?
Yes, the climate march, it's happening in Burlington, it's happening in DC.
Nationwide this Saturday.
Yeah, actually I'm going to the climate march in DC. I guess I found out about it through 350 Vermont, which is an organization that's tackling climate change.
Well, I know it's this Saturday in Washington, D.C. I don't actually know that much about it because I'm not going to it, but I would if I could.
How do you feel about the current administration's view on climate change?
I think it's despicable.
It's just really embarrassing that the leader of our country doesn't believe in climate change when we're the only, quote, superpower in the world that doesn't have like a whole committee to combat climate change.
That sucks. Yeah.
It like pisses me off quite a bit. My mom works for the UN, so she's always complaining about that stuff, and there are great people trying so hard, and he's just kind of stopping it all, and it's just frustrating.
What do you think is the most effective form of activism?
Actually getting out and working with people. I feel like if you're trying to actually change stuff, you have to get to people like in a way more than petitioning, and like talk to people in power and all that jazz.
Just like kind of being there, like literally the government works for us, kind of. I mean, sometimes it seems like that's not the case. But, just showing that you support certain things and, letting people know that you care is kind of important. We vote them into power, so.
And what do you think the most important environmental issue is?
I think the most important environmental problem is the pollution of water. Like fracking, I think, is really terrible.
I'd say the most important issue of our time, not just environmental, is climate change.
I think the most important issue we have right now is transitioning to more renewable energy sources, because fossil fuels are going to run out, they'll get more expensive, and they're overall just like killing the planet.
Definitely rising sea level. I live in New York City, so that's definitely, I get a little worried about, my home not being there.
I know.
Yes, we are.
All right, where are you guys from? Vermont.
Waterbury. I'm from Binghamton, New York originally.
East Montpelier, not far.
Montpelier, okay. I'm originally from Waterbury, Vermont.
I live in Montpelier.
Thetford, Vermont.
I'm from originally from Maine, but I live in Burlington now. Yeah, I'm from Montpelier.
I'm from, originally upstate New York, but I went to UVM actually and decided to stick around here. So I live in South Burlington now.
Yeah, I grew up outside New York City in North Jersey, and I've been in Burlington for 10 years.
Why are you here today?
I'm here to fight for the Mother Earth.
Well, I think this is an important issue to speak up about, and we're doing that. And I'm here because of my grandchildren.
To talk to people about building organizations and building a movement to change not just environmental policy, but the whole political and economic system.
How has climate change affected you personally?
Well, I mean, I think it affects everybody, because every time there's a natural disaster that's based on weather, everybody is either inconvenienced or impoverished or killed by it across the world, and eventually everybody is affected and everybody has to pay for it.
How has climate change affected me personally? Well, I miss there actually being snow on Christmas in Vermont.
I think it's affected the way I respond to the environment.
Already? Well, I'm noticing that the weather is different here than it was when I moved here 40 years ago.
And what do you think is the biggest issue for climate change?
I guess I'm worried most about like the storms and stuff, though, because the things that will affect us most directly in Vermont would be the storms.
I think water. If you don't have clean water, you don't have anything.
Yeah.
But there's so many things.
And is there anything you hope that this march will accomplish?
This is a chance for us to meet and greet. It's a chance to rally. It's a chance for people of like mind to come together to feel empowered.
Well, I was in New York City for the first People's Climate March. Okay. And it was wonderful. I was part of a labor group, and just showing that the false dichotomy between jobs and the environment. And it's just consciousness raising. Just people need to understand that this is a very important issue.
I hope to meet like-minded people. I hope to learn about some of the advocacy groups. I haven't been in Vermont for a while, so I want to learn a bit more about some of the activist options while I'm here.
Just getting the attention of all the legislators and people in general.
Just awareness, solidarity.
And also just that we all gain more hope and inspiration that there is a way to fight and maintain, save the climate as well as, resist against the Trump administration's policy. And I think being together is, for me, it's just super inspirational. What about you, Asa?
Just hoping that it causes more awareness to like kids and stuff and everybody.
Well, I hope it's a wake-up call.
We realize that we are a voting bloc and that we are not marginalized. We can create change on a state level, not just on a national level as well, which I think people are a little transfixed on the national level, but we can still do something on the state level too.
I hope it just sends a message to Trump's administration saying that, climate change is actually a thing, as much as you want to deny it, and if we continue to deny it, then we'll destroy our planet.
And what are you personally doing to combat climate change?
So I try to reuse or repurpose things, and I always try to recycle.
I try to be careful with my own habits at home, composting, not using plastic bags at the grocery store, just little things that I can do.
Bike to work?
Bike to work, exactly, thank you.
Like composting and recycling, and we have a solar panel.
Well, the three of us biked here. Recycle, compost, vegetarian. Try to ride my bike as much as possible as opposed to driving.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Partially through work. I plant trees and landscaping towards a food-based planting design rather than just aesthetic. So,
do you want to just back up and get this whole sign for a moment?
I love it. Thank you.
Well, I'm accustomed to a smooth ride. Or maybe I'm a dog who's lost his pride. I don't expect to be treated like a fool no more. I don't expect to sleep through the night. Some people say lies, lies, lies. But I say why? Why deny the obvious child? Why deny the obvious child?
Why are you here today? I'm here because climate change, global warming is a huge issue. It's threatening all of us, and I feel like I have to be here. It's pretty exciting too.
Don't agree with the policies of the current administration.
I feel like it's the least I can do to march on Washington.
I think it's absolutely essential that as citizens of this democracy that we continue to stand up and resist all the kinds of things that have been going on recently with this new administration that are just eroding so many freedoms that each of us enjoy, and it's scary.
Because I can't vote, because I have no congressional representation. And this is the least I can do.
This is the way we stop the Vietnam War, by protesting, and we're going to keep doing that.
This is basically the only influence I have, is showing up and yelling loudly.
How has climate change affected you in your personal life? I have asthma, so I think a lot of health issues like that are due to the polluting environment. Hearing stories and studying different effects. What do you think is the most concerning environmental issue?
I'd say viewing like ourselves as a species outside of nature, I think is just like the root of isolation and loneliness has created a lot of this.
Well, climate change itself, you know, I mean, everything just kind of builds on everything else. Everything's intertwined, and there's no way to isolate anything in the environment.
The administration itself is one of the biggest threats to the climate. I mean, appointing Scott Pruitt is sort of a shining example of how difficult this process is going to be to change the mind of the administration.
The lack of local food systems. So that would be mine. That is one of mine.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of really big things we can do, and we don't really talk about them too much. It's hard to say, all right, nobody get on any planes anymore.
How has climate change affected you in your personal life?
Well, it certainly makes one stop and think about all the disturbing outcomes that are the result of all these different issues that have been sort of thrown upon us in terms of corporate greed and how that directly affects our water and our, you know, nature and all the environmental things that we all enjoy and get inspired by, and the fact that they're going to cut funding for all these different programs that are going to make for some drastic changes that we're all going to feel in a, you know, everyday life.
And it's just embarrassing in general that the leader of our country doesn't. Sorry, someone just fell down the stairs.
Oh, duh.